What's up, guys? Hello, and welcome to Fight Picks with the Pros. My name is Garrett, and we'll be going over 3 fights on the upcoming UFC 260 card featuring Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou in the main event. Today, I'm joined by, as always, my co-host, the former Ultimate Fighter Season 18 champ, Chris Holds It Down Holdsworth. And today, our guest is former WEC champion, longtime bantamweight contender, Urijah the California Kid Faber.
What's up, y'all? What's up?
All right, let's get into it.
Introducing Fight Picks with the Pros, brought to you by Fanduel.
All right, first up, we got Sean O'Malley coming in as the minus 310 favorite against Thomas Almeida, coming in as a plus 240 underdog. So this is a great fight. Both guys coming in with some momentum. Sean O'Malley just lost his last fight against Marlon Vera, but he still calls himself the undefeated fighter. Thomas Almeida, who's coming off a few losses, actually had a great fight in his last fight. It ended up losing via decision, but I saw a little bit of him come back, the old Thomas Almeida. That was that big prospect coming up in the UFC. So first, we'll start with you, Urijah. You've met him personally. What are your thoughts on Sean O'Malley, and specifically his thoughts coming in this fight after being an undefeated fighter and taking his first loss?
Man, I think O'Malley's the real deal. I mean, I've seen him compete in a grappling competition when he was doing his suspension, and had some really slick submissions and super coordinated for a long guy. It actually reminded me like somebody in this room, Mr. Sticks over here, that was poised to take over the world in his own right. Also some nasty power. He's one of those long guys that for whatever reason looks like he punches the guy's jaw to the back of the neck. I think he's the favorite for a reason. I mean, I think he's the guy that is believing his own techniques are hot stuff right now, and he's in the flow zone. I don't think that last loss was a real legitimate loss in my opinion because of the floppy foot thing that happened. It was kind of strange. And Almeida, on the other hand, is a dangerous guy. I mean, I remember when Cody took that fight, I was like, man, let's wait off to fight that guy. Let's get some more. And Cody really wanted to fight him because he's like, I just know I'll match up well with him because he's a banger. Yeah. But Almeida has got some nasty stand up, but he throws caution to the wind, is willing to take a couple to give a couple, and has too many openings. So I think he could get a clean shot on O'Malley and hurt him because he's got that power. But O'Malley, in my book, is the big favorite.
What do you think about O'Malley coming into this? And we know he's a great striker standing up. He has that KO power, being that long, lanky guy like you mentioned at 135. But we know his Achilles heel, no pun intended, is he gets hit in his ankle and he goes down. It's happened twice now in 2 different fights. One, he got lucky he didn't lose it because the guy took him to the ground after he hurt his ankle, or he should have stood him up. So, Chris, wouldn't you say if you're on the other side and your game plan going in, aren't they going to go for that low calf kick on Sean O'Malley, try to get him out of there and that weakness that we all know he has?
Yeah, I think they're definitely going to try to kick his legs. Being a tall fighter, that's what people are going to be looking for. They're trying to get the calf kicks are really relevant nowadays, and if they can stop Sean's range and his in and out motion, they're gonna do a better job at keeping those long punches at bay. But I think Sean kind of knows that, and he's gonna do a good job with his hands keeping Thomas from the outside. I think Thomas is gonna get KO'd. Honestly, he hasn't looked the same since that Cody loss. And I think Sean's just been getting better and better. I do think that was a legit win on Marlon Vera's part because he did a good job kicking the leg. And I don't know if Sean hurt his ankle before that, but me watching the fight back, I thought those leg kicks and those calf kicks put a damper on the leg, and which then he stumbled on the foot because he didn't have the balance and coordination anymore in that leg.
Well, it looked like his foot went limp, like it was flopping around. I've seen that in the past.
The nerve, it's happened to me. Like that nerve gets hit in the calf, and like your foot goes numb.
So not to take credit away, but it seemed kind of like a freak accident.
No, yeah,
I've seen that 2 other times when somebody's foot like starts flopping around.
Yeah.
And so it's something
he was wrapped
strange.
really tight. His ankle was wrapped like super tight. So that
Yeah, and honestly, when your footwork gets taken away against a tough guy like Vera like that, like you're pretty much done. Like he couldn't do anything. He just pulled guard and got ground and pounded. So we'll see if his leg's at full capabilities now, and I think he'll get the KO over Almeida.
Okay, so you're going Sean O'Malley by KO. So Uriah, you're pulling for Sean O'Malley as well. How do you see the fight ultimately finishing?
Yeah, I don't see Almeida wanting to do much else than stand. He's like kind of a one trick pony when it comes to the fight game, unless he's changed something. I don't necessarily think that O'Malley's opposed to taking him down. Also, he's trained with some really tough guys out there. We saw Kyler Phillips is with him, and the guy that just fought.
No, he's training with Taquino, and he's been putting in a lot of jiu-jitsu with
with
Taquino, who's like one of the best in the world in jiu-jitsu and
so he's
grappling.
and I've seen O'Malley. It was against what's his name from Pride back in the day. Gomi.
Yeah.
Gomi's a tough wrestler, tough submission guy also, and
Yeah,
O'Malley did
guillotined
some slick jiu-jitsu and caught him. So I think it could be anywhere, but I think it'll be a finish.
Okay, you guys are both going finish by O'Malley. I'm also going to say I think it's going to be a third round TKO for Sean O'Malley, and he gets the win. All right, the next fight we got is Tyron, the Chosen One, Woodley, coming in as a plus 210 underdog, facing Vincent, the Silent Assassin, Luque, coming in as a minus 265 favorite. So this is Tyron Woodley coming off a 3-fight skid against top opponents in the UFC, former welterweight champ, going against Vincente Luque, who's been looking really sleek, really good lately, coming in as a heavy favorite. Chris, let's start with you this time. What do you think about Tyron Woodley? He really needs to get this win. I think he's probably a loss or two away from getting cut from the UFC. He's getting a little bit older. Former champ, not too long ago. 3-fight skid. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I think Woodley is a prime example of a guy who's like really good at something and then tries to change their game up and become a striker or something. He's a really good wrestler, and then he started to like knock people out, and then he got really hungry with the stand up and just try to like strike with everybody. And I think he hasn't done as well since he tried to like change his styles a little bit. So maybe he needs to go back to his like gritty wrestling, using his hands to close the distance and then getting on top of these guys and using his athletic ability to stay on top and get those wins that way. But as far as the fight goes, Vincente Luque, like you say, he's been on a good skid. He's fought some good guys. He's pretty well rounded too. He's got some subs. We'll see if Tyron comes out here trying to strike with Vincente. I think Vincente is going to win a decision. But if not, I think Tyron, if he uses his wrestling and gets these takedowns, I think he'll beat him by a decision.
For Tyron, it's one of those old stories where, you just look at a record and you're like, oh man, 3 losses, like this guy's sucks. These are different kinds of losses. Those are the top dog losses. I've been there also. I always remember people saying, I never even thought about this, but Uriah has never lost a non-title fight. I mean, I had a lot of title fights, but I never lost a non-title fight. And in my whole career, I was fighting top-level guys. I don't think that Serrato has or Vincente has faced the level of Tyron. As long as Tyron hasn't counted himself out, which I don't think he has, I'll go towards an MMA grappler versus a straight jiu-jitsu grappler on the ground. And then, like Chris was saying, I think Tyron has to understand, like, this is mixed martial arts, not boxing with 4-ounce gloves. Remember what got you there. Remember why you're so dangerous, why you have the ability to knock guys out, because they're thinking the fight could go anywhere. So same boat. If he fights smart, I think Tyron needs to get that one back, and I think he will get it back.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a level of competition. The odds makers are pulling Vincente Luque as a heavy favorite going in this fight. I like Tyron Woodley in this fight. I like him as the dog. Matter of fact, I think this is going to be my lock of the week because I think Tyron Woodley, the level of competition he's facing, I mean, we're talking about Usman, former current welterweight champ, Kobe Covington, who could be right up there, top contender, and then Gilbert Burns, who just competed for the strap. So these are probably the top 3 guys in the welterweight division. And I think Woodley, he should take it as a sign that this is his chance to get back in the mix and stay a ranked fighter. If not, this is going to be one to really push him out of those rankings. And if he takes another loss, he'll even possibly be pushed out of the UFC. So he has to know what's on the line here. But I think it's going to be Tyron Woodley. And I'm going to say by decision. So official picks are in. You're going Vincente Luque, Chris.
No.
Oh, let's get the official pick.
I think Tyron Woodley's gonna win this decision.
Okay, you like decision too? Okay, and you're right. Official pick.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Tyron as well. I think he's not a guy that's affected by those 3 losses against world champ guys. He still believes he's the world champ or close to it, and I think we're gonna see a good performance.
Do you think it's gonna end in a decision, or you think Woodley gets that finish?
You know what? I'll go with the finish later in the fight.
I like that. Switch it up from us. Next fight, we're going to change it up here and do an early prediction fight. We've got TJ Dillashaw versus Cory Sandman Sandhagen. So this was scheduled for May 8th. So this has huge implications for the bantamweight division. We know here at Team Alpha Male, we got Cody Garbrandt in the mix and a bunch of guys in those smaller weight classes. So this is going to be a big fight. A lot of people are surprised coming off a 2-year suspension that TJ's getting thrown right back in the mix, and a guy like Cory Sandhagen who could propel him to potential title shot next. A lot of people think this is the title shot eliminator. So Chris, let's start with you this time. What do you think about TJ coming back, and what do you think Cory Sandhagen has to offer him?
Yeah, I think he does deserve a top contender, right off the bat, from just what he's done in that division and, being champ. Like, just give him and see where he's at. I don't think he's gonna be the same fighter, honestly. After popping for the EPO, and now that he's not able to take that, like, I don't think he's gonna be the same guy.
If he's not gonna be able to take that,
yeah, we'll see if he's found a different guy who's like found a different formula or something like that. But it's gonna be interesting. I'm interested to see if he's gonna be the same guy or if he's gonna be slower or whatnot. But I know Cory Sandhagen has trained with him a bunch in the past. I think the best thing for Cory to do in this fight is to keep it standing and use his unorthodox, rangy type of style to beat TJ. And I think if TJ's smart, which I know he is, he's gonna take Cory down and use his MMA wrestling and grappling, because TJ is really good on the ground, and he showcased that previously in his fights. But I think if he wants to beat Cory, he's gonna have to take him down and use his ground and pound and jiu-jitsu to win this.
I will say this about TJ. He's one of the most competitive guys, whether he's by the rules, not by the rules, etc. That dude is going to be looking for every advantage in every way, shape, or form. And I guarantee, since they were training together for however long, TJ was game planning that they're going to fight each other at some point and knows the way to beat Cory Sandhagen. And Sandhagen's got to be an intelligent guy and know that as well. So we don't know what happened behind closed doors, whether TJ's head's and, be leaps and bounds above him on the grappling side, or he can barely take the guy down. I heard that Sandhagen was doing really well against him. I remember Sandhagen came out and trained with us. I can barely remember him at all as far as like our training together, so I have no recollection. But TJ is going to be prepared. He's going to be willing to die in there. And I think it's going to be a live by the sword, die by the sword kind of situation. If he doesn't, make a smart decision to get into a grappling match, then it's going to be closer to a 50-50 fight. And I'm going to lean towards Sandhagen. But I think TJ will may edge this one out, depending.
Do we know if it's a 3 or 5 rounder, or is it?
I'm not sure if it's 3 or 5 rounder. Most likely they'll make this a main event fight night. If it ends up being a co-main on a pay-per-view, then it'll drop down to the 3-rounder. I think they want to see this be a 5-round fight. But it's pretty crazy because Cory Sandhagen, on his side, he's had these spectacular KOs against these top guys. Spinning heel kick, flying knee against Frankie Edgar, who hardly gets put away, and he had his lights shut out. So I think Cory Sandhagen's going to be unpredictable. TJ's going to come out with that Dominic Cruz-esque style, and I think he has the possibility to piece him up on the feet if TJ comes back. Who knows what type of shape he's in or where his mentality's at. This is a really hard fight to call. TJ did say in some old media clips that when he was talking about Cory Sandhagen as a young prospect, in some of the clips he said that in training that Cory was getting the best of him. This guy, hey, I'm going to be a world champ, and this guy is not even in the UFC, and he's getting the best of me in some of these matches. And so that's a clip that's going around media right now. But where their games are at now, Cory's at the top of his game, definitely top level. TJ's coming back after this 2-year layoff, wants to prove everybody wrong. Everyone's been calling him out. So before I throw it back to you guys for your official picks, I'm going to go Cory Sandhagen by TKO. That'll be my official early fight prediction. So let's get your official picks. Chris, we'll start with you and throw it to Uriah.
Man, it's tough. I think it can go two ways. If Cory's gonna win, I think it's gonna be a quick knockout. It's gonna be in the first round. If it goes past the first round, I think TJ will win a decision. Or I could even see TJ choking him out like Aljamain did. Honestly, I can see TJ getting to his back and finishing him with that rear naked choke.
Yeah, and then I don't know what it is about Sandhagen. I feel like when Aljamain fought him, I was like, that's what I would have done. You know what I mean? Like that's what I would have tried to do. Like just get unorthodox and force the grappling and get in to a scramble situation. And I don't think that was a representative of his jiu-jitsu by any means. But and again, it depends on what TJ learned in that time, because I guarantee you he has it written down in his booklet and along with all the other stuff he's been, recording about ways to beat this person and whatnot. TJ has some insight on how to beat Cory Sandhagen. I don't know if Sandhagen was going to be that thoughtful about that kind of situation in the time going. So, for some reason, I feel like TJ's going to wrestle him. What was the heavy-handed dude that he fought? They just wrestled the whole time. Lineker. I think he's going to try to do something similar to what he did with Lineker, but it's a lot more dangerous against Cory Sandhagen. Lineker was like throwing nasty bombs, but just reckless, and Sandhagen's like a slick pinpoint puncher with high intensity weapons that can knock you out. So I think it's going to be that chess match of who's the better mixed martial artist, and I think right now in their career, TJ is the better mixed martial artist.
So you're going TJ Dillashaw by...
Probably decision.
TJ by decision. Okay, I think that's a solid pick.
Is it 3 round? Is it 3 round fight?
We don't know yet for sure yet.
It's a 3 round fight by decision.
Okay. So Chris, you're going.
Yeah, I'm going. I said so. If it ends early, Cory by knockout. But if it goes past the first round, I think TJ is gonna get the takedowns and win a decision. Or if he gets the takedowns and gets to the back, I can see him finishing the rear naked choke.
That's right.
It's time for the main fight pick of the evening.
All right, now for this main event of the evening, we got Stipe, the silencer, Miocic, coming in as a plus 110 underdog versus Francis, the Predator, Ngannou, coming in as a minus 134 favorite. So this is a huge matchup. We saw it in 2018, December, where Stipe was able to avoid those heavy hands from Francis and get the decision win. It was a big one from his career. Francis was on this huge meteoric rise, and he got stopped by Stipe. Not stopped by him, but his run got stopped by Stipe in this heavyweight matchup. Since then, he took a few losses, lost to Derek Lewis after that fight. Now he's been on a 4-fight win streak, and his total 4 fights, I think, have a total run time of about 2 minutes and 48 seconds, something along those lines, which means he's just putting guys away. So opening opinions, Uriah, we'll start with you this time. What do you think about Stipe's coming off this trilogy with Daniel Cormier, where he got knocked out 1-2 in a row. He's being reigned as the heavyweight GOAT, and now he's got this Predator coming in. That's an absolute monster that he has to fight next. So what do you think Stipe's mentality is right now?
Man, I'm really bad at picking heavyweight fights for some reason. I just can't put myself in their mindset. It's like flip a coin sometimes with these big dudes throwing down. First off, is that a brand new nickname for Stipe? Did he just come out? He's like, did he become the silencer like in this late in his career?
After the Cormier fight, he's like, I'm the silencer now. I
just want to hear.
We'll have to look that
I
up.
want to see him in Ohio. Where's he from? Ohio?
Yeah.
I want to see him in Ohio at the bar, drinking beers with his buddies, and deciding that the silencer is his new nickname. That's what I want to know. How'd that happen? You got to go with the champ. I think again, the thing that's made him, he's also a high level wrestler. That's something that people don't take into account, and so it's not just about the wrestling, and it's about what you learn in wrestling: the grind, the push, the different setups, the threat of the takedown that opens up the strikes. I think if he uses that, then we're going to see the champ do his thing again.
Yeah, I like this rematch. I think Ngannou has gotten better in these past couple years. I think he's probably learned some more wrestling and some more MMA grappling. So, I think Stipe did a good job in mixing up the takedowns that first fight. But we'll see. Stipe is Stipe for a reason. So I think if he does what he's supposed to do, he's going to mix it up again and not play into Francis's power and just try to box them the whole time, because you don't want to do that. Francis can knock anybody out, and there's always a threat for that. But he does die down a little bit, and Stipe is shown that he can go all 5 rounds against the best guys in the world. So I'm saying Stipe is going to win this one by decision.
Yeah, really, the tale of this fight is, can Stipe survive those first 2 rounds? Because that's where Francis just constantly is putting guys away. And then you see if it goes into the 3rd round, especially this championship rounds, 4th and 5th, he does gas. He carries a lot of muscle. He's a big guy. So a lot of people are calling under round and a half is going to be Francis by knockout. Over a round and a half is going to be Stipe by decision. So those are really around the 2 sides are going. For my money and my official pick, it's always fun to root for the early knockout and to have that when the fight starts. Let's go Francis if I got him as my winner. But it's hard to deny the heavyweight champ. A lot of people think he's the heavyweight GOAT. I think he is going to be able to evade those big strikes. That's going to be the game plan going in early. We know Francis is full of energy. Let's evade those strikes, even if we have to grapple a little bit, wrestle a little bit, push to the 3rd round, and then Stipe is going to open up, and I think he'll start piecing them up. And then eventually 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5, get that heavy decision win. So for your guys' official fight picks, give me a quick 30, 40-second breakdown and give me your official pick for the heavyweight, the new heavyweight champion, or the instill for Stipe. Chris, we'll start with you.
Ngannou is going to come out swinging, trying to take Stipe out quick, use his power, use what he's good at is knocking people out and finishing people. And Stipe is going to try to box him, stay at the end of his jab, stay on the outside, not trying to get into those brawling situations. And I think he'll start mixing up the takedowns, at the end of the rounds or, later in the fight once it goes past like the 2nd or 3rd, and, start mixing up those takedowns and using the takedowns to set up the strikes once Francis starts slowing down. So I say Stipe by decision.
Yeah, I love Francis, and there's no doubt there's a fairy tale ending where he knocks out Stipe, the best heavyweight of all times. He had a chance to do it once. We saw that went. I think that the champ is going to be smarter and win by decision.
All right, there we go. Looks like we got all 3 of us for Stipe by decision.
Picks.
All right, guys, that'll do it for Fight Picks with the Pros. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Adios.
All right,
Hello, everyone. Bruce Buffer here. Thank you for watching the MMA Surge YouTube channel. We hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe and get notified when we upload next.